Greetings, soul family. This is Amenti the Awakener, Amenti the Oracle, and today I've come with a download, and this particular video is going to be a light language and soul healing video, and it's going to be especially for those from the African community, those who are of African descent. And this particular light language transmission is coming from the Ancestral Mothers. And the Ancestral Mothers represent the divine feminine consciousness that has been pushed aside and has kind of been subjugated on the planet. So it's not coming from the understanding that the source is feminine in any way. It's just understanding that that feminine aspect of the consciousness needs to be rebuilt, and it's choosing to communicate through us at this time to bring forth latent wisdom, knowledge, and insight that we as humans have missed out, having lived in a patriarchal society. Sorry. And so I've been working with the energy of the Ancestral Mothers a lot recently, and this particular light language transmission is coming for the group of communities on Earth who connect to the place called Africa, those who are the melanated peoples. And the reason why this particular light transmission is going out to them directly is because karmically, collectively, we are coming out of a cycle of suppression. And so in order for us to learn the lessons that we need to learn in order to be exalted within our own divinity, within our own self, there are certain experiences that need to be balanced, harmonized, and rectified on an energetic level. So light language or soul language is basically a language that comes through the heart and comes straight from source. It is not one that's interpreted necessarily into English, although sometimes when I do channel it, I do receive further information which comes across in English, so to speak, but it's based on the original soul sounds of the universe, its tones and frequencies. And because of the way that our energetic anatomy operates, you know, tones, frequencies, words, they have an effect on us, able to bring in memories, information, knowledge, or healing, or also release trapped energy, break karmic bonds and things like that. And so soul language and light language is basically a language that is beyond physical perception. It's beyond you know, words really, and it can be felt. So when you hear light language, when you allow yourself to be submerged in the frequencies of light language, love language, why not? Light language, what it does is it helps to create shifts on an energetic level, emotional, mental, astral. And because we are building up our energetic system, or our connection and awareness of our energetic system, it is these light language transmissions that start to awaken some of our subtle or subconscious gifts and soul memory. And so the light language I'm going to communicate is coming from the energy of the Ancestral Mothers, and I'm sharing that through my heart. Today they came to me through meditation, and a lot of the work that I have been doing has been about rebirthing people, taking them back through the birthing journey, taking them back into the womb, so that we can rewrite some of these codes that have you know, affected the DNA of many humans. It's not very widely known, but a lot of the trauma that we experience, or a lot of the things that we experience through life, are dependent on what takes place in the womb. You know, the information that we receive in the womb, our mother's state of mind. And within this particular community of the African people of African descent, there has been a lot of trauma in the community. So a lot of mothers have gone through being in a state of pregnancy and being worried about things such as abandonment from fathers who are not able to be there, or, you know, feeling safe due to sexual abuse and things like that. And so part of the work that the Ancestral Mothers want me to do in terms of helping to raise the divine feminine consciousness of African women, but also to strengthen the bonds between African men and African women, the divine masculine, divine feminine. Some of the work that I'm being called to do is around clearing some of these old, outdated programs. The 400 years lesson that we were supposed to have in our lower self has now been completed. And so in order for us to rise and ascend to our greatness, we have to understand why it is that we fell in the first place, and we have to also erase some of the patterning, some of the imprints left from the behaviors that we've experienced whilst in our lower self. And so this particular video is going to be about sexual abuse, and it's going to be about helping to clear some of the genetic and ancestral patternings around sexual abuse, because it is something that has been prevalent in this community for a very long time. There's a lot of suppression around speaking about it, and it has been one of the most widely spread generational curses in our community. And so the ancestral mothers want us to now start changing some of these ways that we have become accustomed to, and starting to do the healing work that's necessary. So this particular video is going to be a light language, soul language transmission to help to start clearing some of these old outdated programs, some of these old outdated wounds around sexual abuse, especially for those in the melanated community, because of the genetic and generational patterning of behavior, and where it was created, which was during that slavery experience. And so we are invited to do the work that's necessary. Over the next couple of months and weeks, you'll see me doing more videos like this, and also more around empowering the divine feminine and sharing more about the story, you know, the story of her story, the goddess's story, the original story that has been pushed to a side through patriarchy, all in the efforts for us to learn more about ourselves on a soul level. And so as we're moving to this space of oneness, it's all about how we bring those masculine and feminine energies together and work in harmony. And within our community, that is something that needs to take place. But in order for that to happen, we need to really start to look deeply at how we got here, what it is that we need to learn, and the wounds that are still apparent. So as I said, this particular video is going to be a light language, soul language transmission for the release and clearance of sexual abuse within the African community and in the genetic memory of the ancestral community. The soul language that I speak is connected to one of the most ancient ancestral tongues, and so I just allow it to channel and express as it does. The only thing that you need to do is to just listen and receive, and always call in your own protection. I always say this to everybody: never just trust anything that you see on the internet or anybody else is telling you. Always make sure that you call in your protection in the most simplest of ways, by just saying, I call on the divine creator to protect me in the highest vibration of love. Do not let any harm come to me as I open myself to this experience. Allow only what is for my highest good. And this is so important, that we learn to have some spiritual discernment and understand that we are the sovereign beings in control of our own vessels. So even if somebody is coming forth and saying, look, this is what I have to offer, always check with the source. Okay, so just going into the light language now. Just allow yourself to be in a space to listen and receive. Nikakane hene hola mama he kakamuno po mapode kete po hune kene hai hene moko ineke ha mine hene uno pusiki ke pa hene ke ka huno po pa pene ke hana hai ke uno imikulo go mahana hai ke helo go mama ke le wa mo huno tuke muke ke kala kan ke kala mo fa me ke gini kakani ke kene maha le me ke ole me he me ku. So what I'm receiving is we're just doing some clearing around the sacral chakra and the root chakra, and it's bringing up this thing of man and woman wanting to take energy from each other, not understanding that they're from the same source, that they're from the same energy. And so the root of sexual abuse is this feeling of separation that doesn't really exist. You're not really separate, and so you seek to have power and control. The masculine seeks to have power and control over the feminine, because the feminine is actually the power source, and the man is the physical power source. Together, when they work together in harmony, they have that omnipresent, that omnipotent, that power of the God. But in this particular space, there is a lack of understanding of how the two energies work together. And so this is what is the understanding that I'm getting from the root of this sexual abuse. So me hene he kono komo ko me hele kai ke kene he ke mo ko ko ke ko ka me ke hulu ko ke bene ke na ha ni mi he ko hulu ko ke pe. So I'm just clearing out the solar plexus chakra, and I'm being told about the struggle, the power of will, and how that is one of the things that is a battle between African men and women. This will, this fight, this because they don't see the balance of each other's gifts and how they work together. There's this constant fighting fighting and suppression and fighting against each other's will when they should be united as one. So I'm just clearing away that, and it's coming up to the throat, which is all about speaking freely, being able to express themselves. A lot of the words that we have said to each other has been harmful and debilitating, and so we now have to start speaking these words of empowerment to each other. I'm just feeling this descending energy. It's almost as if we've forgotten to listen. It's like we've been disconnected from our ancestral powers, from those who were guiding us, and so we're left to our lower self. And when you are in your lower self and you see yourself, you do not know yourself, so you fight yourself. And so this is what I've been shown, that there's a constant fight because we do not see each other. It's almost as if we forgot who we were and to each other, that we were gods. It's then now we're seeing each other in our fallen state, and that's when we've started to now fight each other. And every time I cough, it's usually just a clear, and that clearance was from the heart, because for a while we've not been open to each other. We've not been open to really feeling each other's pain, listening to each other's story, in terms of black men and black women, not listening to each other's story and looking outside of us for that which we seek. A lot of not seeing each other for who we really are, and that's what's the cause of a lot of the pain that we see. We're also being encouraged to reconnect to the ancestral tongues, reconnect to the old traditions, because within that will build up the genetic and ancestral codings within us that took 400 years to disrupt. Okay, we need to start listening to our African tongues. We need to start listening to our music and start embodying those frequencies and codes. Like even with the words, even with the tones that are coming through, she said that they're frequencies and codes. Okay, and when I say she, the mother energy that's come forth to help me with this is Nana Boluku. So she's the one that's guiding me through this process and saying that we've forgotten, the power of each other and oneness between each other. And so that's what we're having to remember. The time of the curse is now over, but we have to know that it's only by working together that we are going to change the rhetoric and the discourse around who it is that we are and change our outcomes. Okay, so the ancestors are saying by working together, we will learn to understand how we became the powerful forces that we were. If you look back in our history, you always see the masculine and the feminine energy working together. This particular disruption, this separation that we have gone through has been a learning experience in itself. But the way that we are going to heal as a community is only by working together, seeing the benefits in each other, seeing the strengths in each other, because the masculine energy represents 1/4 of God, which means the material world. The feminine energy represents 3/4 of God. That means the spiritual world, the subconscious world. The woman is able to feel things intuitively. She's able to receive the ideas. She is the one that carries the age, and I will speak more about that. Most of the world religions have been created because men are not necessarily born with that spiritual power, that feminine power, that age, whereas women are born with that spiritual power, that age, but they don't always know how to channel into it. So there are some males who are born with that feminine energy, or they're raised by nurturers, and their job is to help activate that feminine power in their goddesses. And also vice versa, us goddesses, when we learn to activate our age, when we learn what it means to be feminine, when we learn to master the sacred sciences, when we learn to master our sacred gifts, then we become an asset not only to our partners, but also to our communities. We are the wise women returned. We are the witches returned. We are the ones that have been vilified. And so we have to relearn how to be in our greatness, but this time with humility and through a process of self-mastery. A lot of my work next year is going to be around rebuilding the connections between the black man and the black woman, but also in empowering the African image of the divine feminine, because we need to rebuild our nations. And so in order to rebuild our nations, we have to rebuild ourselves. We have to rebuild from within. We have to understand what it means to be feminine, what it means to be God in the flesh, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be melanated, the lineage that we come from. We need to understand all of this, and not because we are seeking to separate ourselves from humanity. All of humanity is one. There is only one mother. There is many fathers, that's the different tribes that we have, but there's only one mother. There's only one source. Okay, but we as the original indigenous people to this planet, to this land, we must relearn once again how to live in a higher vibration of ourselves with each other. And so I will be doing a lot around building that relationship between divine masculine and divine feminine, black man, black woman, and also facilitating the re-education so that we can learn to harness our power, our understanding of who it is that we are, understanding of the universe, and how we can rebuild our age. And also a lot of the things that we're going through is because we've had this disconnection from our spiritual power, but we have to ensure that how we receive and reclaim that spiritual power is one that is based on ma'at, and one that is based on the foundation of ma'at. And so that is also what I'm here to be a part of. So I hope that this transmission has helped you. Please do like my video and subscribe. Also, please do donate if you like what it is that I'm doing. I'm fully committed to serving my purpose on this planet, which is to help rebuild our communities. I also have had a vision from since I was 4 to build healing villages, and I would like any support that you have. If you'd like to donate to my mission, or if you'd like to know more, then the information is down in the comment box below. I'm sending you much love. If you want any more videos, please just let me know and encourage so I can do this work. Sending you much love of the highest vibration, and giving love always and thanks always to the divine creator of all there is, and to the ancestral mothers.